Shalom, shalom, Yashala world. I'm Brother Ezekiel,
Brother Chris.
and we're here again to. I want to say this is probably going to be part 4 before the finale, but I'm just looking at all these notes on this part now. Basically, this now is the judgment for the other nations and things, or the Gentiles and stuff, the destruction that's coming to them for. Like we said last week, for what they have done to conspire against us and the Most High and Christ and the Holy Spirit, and to cause inflict more damage to us than what we were supposed to be inflicted with. So we're going to start off going into the destruction of what is going to be coming towards all the nations, every nation that's going to say according to them, and we know that they changed up their names today, so they can hide themselves amongst all the whole world and everybody else. But we're going to start off real quick in Isaiah 50:1 before we jump into Ezekiel, and I'm just going to have Elder read that. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1 says, Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins.
In the house of Jacob their sins. So this is what we're doing now, and this is what we're blowing the trumpet about now. First we got on, we was talking about the salvation part, but now there's the destruction part. So we're letting everybody know, even the house of Israel, because 2/3 of Israel is going to pass off, and then the other nations are going to die off too that doesn't have the mark of the Father in them. So we're just giving this as a pre-warning and stuff, before we start getting into the destruction of all the other, nations and things like that. But why we read this is because we're supposed to be the light onto the Gentiles. So we got to teach Israel first, and then they need to go. Then the Gentiles need to know as well, so they can see by example how we're supposed to be, conducting ourselves with the Most High. So now that we read that, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 22, and we'll start at verse 1, and we'll read through verse 1 through 4. And this is given the destruction on Babylon first. Okay.
Ezekiel chapter 22, starting at verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Now, son of man, wilt thou judge the bloody city? Yea, thou shalt show her all her abominations. Then say thou, Thus saith the Most High, the city sheddeth blood in the midst of it, and her time may come, and maketh idols against herself to defile herself. Thou art become guilty in thy blood that thou hast shed, and hast defiled thyself in thine idols which thou hast made, and thou hast caused thy days to draw near, and art even unto thy years. Therefore have I made thee a reproach unto the heathen, and a mocker to all the countries.
So right here now, there's big disputes about who Babylon is and things like that. Honestly, I say America is, but there's many places that copy after America and things like that. So regardless, there's been this whole country here has been built up off of bloodshed, literally. Through the backs of our people, our ancestors and stuff. Dying, doing the work, trying to build up this place. And then, as we know, one of the biggest idols, I want to say, in the world is probably the Statue of Liberty. So that's all here in America and stuff. And then, as it says, all the other nations, they do want to follow after America. They want to be westernized and things like that and stuff. So some may dispute and say that over in Arabia and certain cities and countries that's linking back in the old Babylon, that's still the old Babylon. So I don't dispute people who say that maybe so. I'm just going off that spiritually a lot of countries in the world today are Babylons, but this place would be like the main one. But anyway, so as it says, they made plenty of idols to defile herself with. They shed so much blood. The heathens, as they say, the Gentiles, they've come and they're devouring the place. I mean, everybody comes here, they make money, they open up shops and things here, while our people, the Israelites, the 12 tribes, or the blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos, um, we don't reap anything really from that at all. Actually, nothing at all, to be honest. Some may beg to differ, but still, the fact of the matter is, this place is not for our people. So, let's jump to. You know what? Let me back this up real quick. Jump to hold that. Jump to Revelations 18 real quick. And start at verse 1 through verse 5.
Revelation 18 chapter verse 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory, And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities.
So this is basically saying, if you want to read the rest of it, it talks about musicians and trades and all this and that and the other. The rest of the chapter is. But just to show a point that this is showing that every nation in the world has come to this place. And a lot of them are taking that spirit with them over into their own lands and countries and stuff, and are westernizing. A lot of African countries didn't want that, and that's why there's still wars with certain countries all in the east and everything, because they're not trying to follow that type of spirit. And I believe the reason is because the spirit of the Most High is right there, and that it has to fulfill the prophecy and things like that. So that's why they don't want none of that stuff that America or a lot of the European countries, they don't want that type of spirit on them and things like that. So, just like I said, just breaking that down just to back that up. But we could jump back to Ezekiel 22. And like I said, I really don't do the whole prophecy breakdowns and stuff. I mean, there's many prophecy breakdowns, and that really leads to a lot of people arguing and things like that. So I really don't stand on those prophecies like that. So I just leave them where they're at. But basically, I'm just breaking down the judgment for the other nations. But start at verse 8 and read through verse 15, Elder, please.
Ezekiel 22?
Yes, sir.
Ezekiel 22, verse 8 through
15. 8 through 15.
Verse 8 through 15. Thou hast despised mine holy things, and hast profaned my Sabbaths. In thee are men that carry tables to shed blood.
Stop right there for 1 second. Salakia. When it says profane my Sabbath and things like that, for instance, they say this place is in God we trust, right? So if they're talking about the God, or like which God are they talking about? Because they do have it in capital letters. So if you're talking about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, why do you allow people, especially the children of Israel, work on the Shabbat? Why do you have us working those days and things? Well, especially a lot of people ask for those days off and everything before they come into new jobs, and you say no. You get this corporate, this is the corporate standard. You guys got to work on this Saturday, but then give you a Sunday off. See, they switch everything on purpose, and this is what he's talking about, profaning and things. When we're supposed to be off that day, we're supposed to be resting. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 9. In thee are men that carry tails to shed blood, and in thee they eat upon the mountains, and in the midst of thee they commit lewdness. In thee have they discovered their father's nakedness. In thee they have humbled her that was set apart for pollution.
See, and when it's talking about that, speaking of Israel, that place was supposed to have been set apart from everything else. And then us personally, we were supposed to be set apart from all these other nations as well. But this is how America is. It's one boy, uh, uh, um, one gumbo, one pot of gumbo and stuff. And then also, like I said, it's showing the nakedness of their fathers. It's against the laws to do that. So you have in movies children who are watching their parents' movies, showing them butt naked and things like that. That's breaking the laws. But this is in God we trust, though, according to the dollar bill in America. See, all these laws, they're breaking everything. They're making you have a dirty a dirty garment, a spotted garment, and things, and you're not knowing these things because you're going along with the flow. Well, everybody does that. Let's just get along. Let's do. It's cool. It's not cool. But once again, this is places the lewdness that they have us doing here. Okay, well, go ahead, Elder.
Verse 11. And one had committed abomination with his neighbor's wife, and another had lewdly defiled his daughter-in-law, and another in thee hath humbled his sister, his father's daughter.
So those laws are speaking on incest. Men sleeping with their son's daughter, wives, and things like that. All these things is against the laws, like it tells you in Leviticus 18 about the uncovering the nakedness of your next to kin and things like that. You can read that for yourself. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but I think it's it's Leviticus 1 through 8, verse 1 through 18. So you can read that on yourself according to that law. But go ahead.
Verse 12. In thee have they taken gifts to shed blood. Thou hast taken usury and an increase, and thou hast greedily gained of thy neighbors by extortion, and hast forgotten me, said the Most High.
So they do all these things, sell out your own people. They bringing other nations over to, buy you with blood and things like all these different things. They've been doing this for years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Well, thousands of years, I should say. But it's just showing to prove all the defileness that they're doing. But go ahead.
Verse 13. Behold, therefore I have smitten my hand at thy dishonest gain which thou hast made, and at thy blood which hath been in the midst of thee. Can thine heart endure, or can thine hands be strong in the days that I shall deal with thee? I, the Most High, have spoken it, and will do it. And I will scatter thee among the heathen, and disperse thee in the countries, and will consume thy filthiness out of thee.
So basically what it's speaking of too, that Israel has caught on to these things, and we're doing those things. We've been taught to do these things. And a lot of us are not turning back to the Most High to get up out of this filthiness and things like that. We stay in it. Well, I ain't gonna say we, but our other kin folks and stuff, they want to stay in it and things. They think it's cool, it's fun. God understands me and things like that and stuff. So this place teaches you to do those things. And I even have friends that ask me, well, Ezekiel, why you want to leave America so bad? I try to explain it, but they have to see it, they got to see it firsthand for themselves. And I keep warning them, don't come to this place. Don't do it. Stay exactly where you at and everything. Salakia, y'all. Okay, can you jump to verses 25 and 31, please?
Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 25.
I'm on the lesson right now. Okay, I hate you back. Okay, yeah, verse 25 and 31, still in the same chapter.
25 and 31 or 25 through 31?
Through 31, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 25.
No, 25.
Oh, Ezekiel 25.
No. We're in Ezekiel 22, verse 25.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My bad.
I got you. Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 25. I'm going to go through verse 31. Verse 25. There is a conspiracy of the prophets in the midst thereof. like a roaring lion raving the prey. They have devoured souls. They have taken the treasure of the precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof. Her priests have violated my law and have profaned mine holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and the profane. Neither have they shown difference between the clean and the unclean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbath, and I am profaned among them.
Pay attention to this part. To a lot of you so-called brothers with titles and stuff. This is really speaking on a lot of y'all. This is exactly what's going on right here. And I think I brought this verse up back in Lying Preachers, Pastors, Deacons, and Bishops and stuff. But you guys, you really need to pay attention to this, because this is a really big shout out to y'all who are doing that wickedness and stuff. Okay? But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 27. Her princesses in the midst thereof are like wolves ravening the prey, to shed blood and to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain. And their prophets have daubed them with untempted mortar, seeing vanity and divining lies unto them, saying, Thus saith God, Lord God, when the Lord hath not spoken.
See that? So a lot of y'all be doing this because you allow this wicked place to really teach you how to sell out your people and things like that, and to really cause confusion with them doctrines, man-made doctrines, like I said before, instead of sticking to the book and allowing people to help you according to the Most High's word through their spirit, the love that they have and stuff. But you're constantly dividing everybody. You're actually setting yourself up to be not put into the kingdom, literally. And you guys, like I said, this is why you need to stick strictly to this book. And I'll say this a million times again. Don't believe what we saying up here. Read this book for yourself. Okay? But this is exactly what's going on today. Okay? So you guys better open up your eyes and your ears to what's going on around you. You better acknowledge this stuff seriously. Okay? But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 29. The people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery, and have vexed the poor and needy. Yea, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully. And I sought for a man among them that should make up the heads and stand in the gap.
Salaki, can you read that last the verse before that again? 29. Elder.
Verse 29. And the people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery, and have vexed the poor and needy. Yea, they have oppressed a stranger wrongfully.
They have oppressed a strangers wrongfully. This is talking about Gentiles again. I told you guys, you better start teaching these laws, statutes, and commandments to all. And to you brothers who deal with the Gentiles and you still creating those man-made doctrines, you still oppressing them with that man-made doctrine crap and causing confusion. And you're taking money from the poor and stuff. Like I said again, there should not be not one of your congregations up on Little Demon Book asking for financial help and stuff, and you guys are getting thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And I told brothers and sisters, they don't even know the laws when it talks about tithing and things like that. Even when the priest got a certain amount of money or amount of tithing, they helped out other brothers and sisters who didn't have anything. Read on King Hezekiah, what he did with that treasury and stuff. Again, I said this in a earlier lesson before and stuff. But once again, like I said, there should not be not one person amongst anybody you dealing with that should be going without food, water, clothing, roof over their heads, and things like that. But once again, you people don't read and stuff. I keep telling y'all this. But go ahead, Elder Salakia.
Verse 30. And I sought for a man among them that should make up the heads and stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none. Therefore have I poured out mine indignation upon them. I have consumed them with the fire of my wrath. Their own way have I recompassed upon their heads, saith the Most High.
And that's coming real soon. A lot of it started, or probably have already started on a lot of y'all. And some of y'all got real too relaxed in what you're doing and things because this place has taught you in your spirit to stay that way. But instead of you want to change it, repent from it, and put on a whole new mindset and stuff, you still trapped up in it because of that dang money, the material things. But what do I know? But anyways, so we heard what's happening with Babylon, how it's teaching the whole world to do this, but this place is going to fall and other places are going to fall as well. But let's jump to Ezekiel 25 and start at verse 3 through 17. Now, this is what's going to happen due to what Babylon did and many other nations have done as well. So we're going to get it in here. Ezekiel chapter 25 and verse 3 through 17.
Ezekiel chapter 25 verse 3. And say unto the Ammonites, hear the word of the Most High, thus saith the Lord. Because thou hast said, Aha, against my sanctuary, when it was profaned, and against the land of Israel, when it was desolate, and against the house of Judah, when they went into captivity.
All this stuff that's happening now, that's why it says specifically Ammon. Whoever watching this and things like that, those that know who the Ammonites are right now till this day, guess what? I know you guys laughing up a storm and things like that. Guess what? The first shall be last and the last shall be first. We're going to have that last laugh in the end. Okay? So it's coming back around. Best believe that. But go ahead.
Verse 4. Behold, therefore, I will deliver thee to the men of the east for an oppression.
Possession.
Excuse me. Behold, therefore, I will deliver thee to the men of the east for possession. And they shall set their places in thee, and make all their dwellings in thee. They shall eat thy fruit, and they shall drink thy milk. And I will make Rabbah a stable for camels, and the Ammonites a couching place for flocks. And ye shall know that I am the Most High.
So you're going to make huge cities just for animals, for camels, and for flocks just to dwell in, just to show you how worthless you are and how the Most High is going to do you. You thought the city when Israel was desolate, where it still is desolate, and Tel Arad and stuff, not that Tel Aviv and things like that. Guess what? Y'all partying over there and stuff. Don't worry. Soon, your whole land, your whole country that you called home, you was born and raised, your ancestors was born and raised and stuff, they're going to be places nothing but animals, for camels and for other flocks and things like that. It's coming. So best believe that. Laugh it up while you can now. But go ahead.
For thus saith the Most High, because thou hast clapped thine hands and stamped with the feet, and rejoiced in heart with all thy despite against the land of Israel, behold, therefore I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and will deliver thee for a spoil to the heathen. And I will cut thee off from the people, and I will cause thee to perish out of the countries. I will destroy thee, and thou shalt know that I am the Most High.
Go ahead.
Thus said the Most High, because that Moab and Seir do say, behold, the house of Judah is like unto all the heathen. Therefore, behold, I will open the side of Moab from his cities, which are on the frontiers, the glory of the country, Bethlehem, Baal Meon, and Kitharim, unto the men of the east with the Ammonites, and will give them in possession, that the Ammonites may not be remembered among the nations. And I will execute judgments among Moab, and they shall know that I am the Most High.
And he is not kidding about putting you guys out of existence and things. Like we said, laugh it up now and stuff while you can and things, because it's coming around. But go ahead.
Verse 12. Thus says the Most High, because that Edom has dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them, therefore, thus saith the Most High, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, And
by the hand of my people Israel. So guess what? Once again, the 144,000, me personally, what I believe, according to this, that the 12,000 of each tribe, when Christ come back, you're going to get some get back. So you're going to get your hands nice and dirty, stained with going against all our enemies out there that has been doing this to us. That's what the Most High said, thus saith right here. But go ahead.
I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, said the Most High.
And real quick, this is why I tell you brothers and stuff when you're watching this, don't worry about, for instance, for you brothers out there, and like I said, I know you camps out there and things like that. You know who I'm talking about. When you out there cussing out the so-called white man and everybody else and things and all these other nations out here, don't do that. It is not your place to go and take vengeance on them. Stay in your lane. All you have to do is just preach the word. Let it be known. If you have some Gentiles who want to turn, you need to accept them in things. That's according to thus saith the Most High. But stop trying to sit here and take matters into your own hands. It's not time for that yet. Just like Christ told Peter and stuff. It's not time for that. There's going to be a time. Okay? So be patient. Do the work. Stay humble and stuff. And let it go. Because when that time comes, guess what? All that stuff that's built up in the inside about what's going on, what's been happening to our people on a regular basis and things like that, ever since back then and things, when that time comes, when Hamashiach returns and stuff, you'll have so much anger and fury in your minds and your heart and your spirit and stuff, and you marked as one of the 144,000, guess what? There won't be no remorse when you take a sword to killing off all these other nations when that judgment comes. There won't be no parting. There won't be no mercy. Okay? There's no forgiveness that's going on. Those that don't have the mark of the Father in them and stuff, they all getting put to death. So you don't have to worry about, oh man, that's I remember my guy right there. Or that's, you ain't going to have that. Or, you're not going to have that in you. Period. So that's what it's saying. Just stay back. When that time comes, the Most High is going to release all that in you. And then once you take it, you won't have to worry about no, what's the word I'm looking for? You won't hesitate when that time comes. So just do the work out here, man. Don't leave them alone, okay? Just do what it says according to the scriptures. Be a light unto them, all right? But go ahead, Elder. Salaki.
Verse 15. Thus says the Most High, because the Philistines have dealt by revenge, and have taken vengeance with a despiteful heart to destroy it for the old hatred. Therefore, thus saith the Most High, behold, I will stretch out my hand upon the Philistines, and I will cut off the Cherethims, and destroy the remnant of the sea coast. And I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes. And they shall know that I am the Most High, when I shall lay my vengeance upon them.
I was thinking about Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction. That's the scripture right there. That's the verse. Okay. And I will lay great vengeance and furious anger. Okay, let me quit. But this is exactly what it is, and I ain't gonna lie. That was like the best face how the camera showed up. That's probably like a pinch of probably what the father was gonna be pissed about when he lets everything out on that day. But anyways, let's jump to oh boy, it's gonna be a lot longer than what I expected. Ezekiel 29, because the whole chapters is talking about all the judgment that's coming on all these other nations.
29.
Yep, the whole chapter. And this is going on for still the Egyptians that's still, in the lands and still talking to, the real Egyptians that's still living on to this day who got their names changed by the UN and the powers that be right now.
Ezekiel chapter 29. In the 10th year, in the 10th month, in the 12th day of the month, the word of the Most High came to me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and prophesy against him, and against all Egypt, speaking and say, thus saith the Most High, behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, the great dragon that lieth in the midst of his rivers, which hath said, my river is mine own, and I have made it for myself. But I will put hooks in thy jaws, and I will cause the fish of thy rivers to stick into thy scales, and I will bring thee up out of the midst of thy rivers, and all the fish of thy rivers shall stick unto thy scales. And I will leave thee thrown into the wilderness, thee and all the fish of thy rivers. Thou shalt fall upon the open fields, thou shalt not be brought together, nor gathered. I have given thee for meat to the beasts of the field and to the fowls of the heaven. And all the inhabitants of Egypt shall know that I am the Lord, because they have been the staff of reed to the house of Israel.
Let me explain something here. This is why I said back a couple lessons back, I said I'm going to do a lesson that pinpoints the laws all in Genesis that was already created. I also said about how the tabernacle, like the Ark of the Covenant, everything about it, it was the blueprint of the kingdom that's coming and stuff. Everything that you saw in Egypt the first time the Most High brought us out and stuff, all that stuff that happened before we got into the land, all of that's going to happen on a huge, larger scale than what it was back then. That's going to happen in modern day times. All that stuff is going to happen, and it's going to be devastating. You know, honestly, with me, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm not going to stick to it, because we're, like Scripture says, we're looking for signs and things like that, when really we ain't supposed to look for signs. We're supposed to stick to the knowledge and the wisdom of the Most High, because when you stick to that, you're not worried about what's going on around you and stuff. You have the land of Goshen right here in your heart and your mind. When I mean that, the Most High keeps that light on you and protects you from all the other stuff that's happening, that he's putting his, letting out his anger and his fury out. Okay, so don't even worry about the signs and things like that. Stick to the scripts. That's it. And self-reflect with the Most High, Christ, and the Holy Spirit, and then continue to keep doing the work. Just keep doing it, So just keep being fishers of men and just do what you got to do. Don't worry about what's going on in the heavens or what's going on in the earth and things like that. Don't worry about that stuff, okay? Because all it's going to do is cause fear, and we don't deal with the spirit of fear. The Most High didn't create us with the spirit of fear. So that's all I want to say, but go ahead, Ellis.
Verse 6, and all the inhabitants of Egypt shall know that I am the Most High, because they have been a staff of reed to the house of Israel. When they took hold of thee by thy hand, thou didst break, and rent all their shoulder. And when they leaned upon thee, thou breakest, and madest all their loins to be at a stand. Therefore, said the Most High, behold, I will bring a sword upon thee, and cut off man and beast out of thee. And the land of Egypt shall be desolate and waste. And they shall know that I am the Most High, because he has said, a river is mine, and I have made it. Behold, therefore I am against thee and against thy rivers, and I will make a land of Egypt utterly waste and desolate, from the tower of Sarin unto the border of Ethiopia.
To the border of Ethiopia. How we know this? Because the Nile River ends in Ethiopia. Okay, so this is why I said the borderlines where Abraham had walked, all where he walked. When he went into Egypt, he went south. He went into Sudan. He went into Somalia. He went into Eritrea. He went into and he ended up last in Ethiopia and stuff. Everywhere he walked, that was marking the territory of the Most High, where the kingdom is going to be when that time comes with Christ. And then he went back up into Arabia, all the way up by the Euphrates and Tigris and stuff. So those are the borderlines. In between each area, that's the whole kingdom. Okay, so you got a clean house all through there and stuff. So, hey, keep doing what you're doing, because the Father's working hard for you. And obviously the Hamashiach did what he had to do and still going to have to do. So, let's pave the way and make it a lot easier for both of them, or all three of them, But go ahead.
No foot of man shall pass through it, no foot of beast shall pass through it. Neither shall it be inhabited 40 years. And I will make a land of Egypt desolate in the midst of the countries that are desolate. And their cities among the cities that are laid waste shall be desolate 40 years. And I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations and will disperse them through the countries. Yet thus saith the Most High, at the end of 40 years will I gather the Egyptians from the people whither they were scattered. And I will bring them, and I will bring again the captivity of Egypt, and will cause them to return into the land of Pathros, and to the land of their inhabitations. And they shall be there a base kingdom. It shall be the basset of the kingdoms, neither shall it exalt itself any more above the nation, for I will diminish them, that they shall no more rule over the nations. And it shall be no more the confidence of the house of Israel, which bringeth their iniquity to remembrance, when they shall look after them. But they shall know that I am the Most High. And it shall come to pass in the 7th and 20th year, in the first month, in the first day of the month, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, caused his army to serve a great service against Tyrus. Every head was made bald, and every shoulder was peeled, yet had no wages, nor his army for Tyrus, for the service that he had served against it. Therefore, thus saith the Most High, Behold, I will give the land of Egypt unto Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and he shall take her multitude, and take her spoil, and take her prey, and it shall be the wages for his army.
Real quick, okay, and some may argue here and say this already happened. It did. That did happen already to a lot of these lands. But where I'm getting at with this, why I'm bringing this forward, is that all of this is going to happen again when Christ comes back. So some will argue and say, well, this already happened. See, look, it says it right here. That place is desolate over there. It's not that desolate because you still got people living there nonstop, and they're still conducting business, and they got armies and so forth and so on. So on a larger scale, all of this is just pre-stuff that's going to show and prove what's going to happen when Christ comes back. Okay? It's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. But go ahead.
Verse 20. I have given him the land of Egypt for his labor, wherefore he served against it, because they wrought for me, saith the Most High. And that day I will cause the horn of the house of Israel to bud forth, and I will give thee the opening of the mouth in the midst of them, and they shall know that I am the Most High.
Mm-hmm. See that? Talking about Israel's going to bud forth like a flower. They're going to start blooming. And this is exactly what's starting to happen now. And they're really getting on this because nowhere in the 90s, or even when it started, 60s, 70s, 80s, or even before that, 90s and stuff, this was not, they were not making debates and all on huge media about the black Hebrew Israelites and all this and that and the other and stuff. You know, it wasn't broadcasted like that because of the social media and stuff. But now, since it's a big thing and people are starting to see, now they got to come out. Even the other nations got to start doing their homework and trying to come up with more philosophies and, you know, come up with more theories and things like that to discredit who we are according to the scriptures. And then, obviously, in the whole nutshell, they're trying to say that the Bible isn't real anymore. Okay? So it's backfiring on them. They're a little too late for that. You know, if they wanted to keep this on hush hush, they should have done a lot better job than what they did. But is that it on that?
That's it on
that. Was it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's chapter 29. Okay. Now let's jump to, now that was about Egypt. Okay. Now let's jump to the judgment on Ethiopia and Egypt again. But there was more with Egypt. Ezekiel chapter 30, the whole chapter.
Ezekiel.
And the reason is, real quick, because they say they don't know who the Egyptians are today. They're all in Sudan. They're all in Somalia, Ethiopia. It's a mixture. Every Ethiopian there is not so-called Cushites. Okay, they look different. Everybody looks different around there. The bone structure, the way how they carry themselves, it's totally different. So you can't say who's who and what's what. Okay, that's why we don't strive with the genealogy. But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 30. Chapter 30 and verse 1. The word of the Most High came again unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus said the Most High, how ye woe worth the day. For the day is near, even the day of the Most High is near. A cloudy day, it shall be the time of the heathen. And the sword shall come upon Egypt, and great pain shall be in Ethiopia. When the slain shall fall in Egypt, and they shall take away her multitude, and her foundation shall be broken down. Ethiopia and Libya and Lydia and all the mingled people, and Chub and the men of the land that is in league shall fall with them by the sword.
Now you see that how it said in verse 5, and all the mingled people. This is why you don't strive with genealogy. You don't know who's who and what's what. Okay? And then two, for my my Ethiopian friends, you guys know I build with you on everything. So continue, to keep building with your brother, and don't be caught up amongst all what's going on with what's going to happen to your countrymen. Okay? So I'm just giving forewarning and things like that. So, this is going to happen. And this is why they didn't want you knowing the other half of the book. Okay? Christianity was brought to you guys by the Portuguese a long time ago. Okay? You guys didn't deal with Christianity. You actually were getting it from the real Israelites. You were getting the knowledge and wisdom. Your queens used to come up and get knowledge. You used to pay for knowledge. It's all through the scriptures. Okay? You got to turn that Christianity stuff down because that's Roman beliefs. That has nothing to do with the scriptures, period. Okay? Get out of the Catholicism. Okay? Stop worshiping Mary. Stop worshiping the angels and things like that. Stop doing that. And Christ is not God. He's the Son of the Most High. Worship God. And anything you ask of God, ask through Christ. Okay? And I'm saying this for y'all because I know y'all watching these things. And I got much love and respect for all, but when it comes down to the word of the Most High, I can't have respect for it no more. Okay? You guys got to stay according to what the script says. Okay? But go ahead, Elder. Sorry.
Verse 6. Thus saith the Most High, they also that uphold Egypt shall fall, and the pride of her power shall come down. From the tower of Syren shall they fall in it by the sword, saith the Most High. They shall be desolate in the midst of the countries that are desolate, and her cities shall be in the midst of the cities that were wasted. And they shall know that I am the Most High, when I have set a fire in Egypt, and when all her helpers shall be destroyed.
See, and once again, this is why we keep it. This is why I went into talking about who's the sword. That's Christ. And then Ezekiel 33 says, as a watchman, warn the people, blow the trumpet, tell them to turn away from their sins, their iniquity, so they don't get taken up and their blood won't be upon their own heads and stuff. That's why I tell you. And then also for my brethren, who's supposed to be brethren, and teaching these people and being a true watchman, this goes for you too. You keep on lying to the people and stuff, their blood is going to be on your head because they put their trust in you, which I don't get still when Jeremiah 17:5 says, cursed be the man that put his trust in man and make it his own flesh. I don't get how you guys do that. You guys have the book in your hands. Read it. Okay? But anyways, go ahead, Elder. Salakia.
Verse 9. In that day shall messengers go forth from me in ships to make the careless Ethiopians afraid, and great pain shall come upon them, as in the day of Egypt. For lo, it cometh.
See, it said for the careless Ethiopians. Let me explain something to y'all again. Listen to your Ak, okay? Listen to what we're trying to explain to you, okay? Spread this amongst your people and things, because you're just going to be just as responsible as our people is, because a lot of times we can't reach your people because we're not your people. So in order for all other Gentiles, this is the same thing goes for you guys. If you getting this knowledge and wisdom and understanding, take that to your people and tell them. Warn them what's going on and things like that, okay? So you guys don't get caught up in this, okay? But, hey, this is what You know, and some of y'all may see these videos like, oh man, he loved them heathens, he loved the Gentiles and stuff. Well, Christ did say, love thine enemies. You know what I'm saying? So, and pray for them and things like that. And I'm going to do a lesson on that because David showed that numerous of times with all the other nations that he fought against and stuff. And it paid off big time. Did he trust them? No. But did he show love? Yes, he did. But I'll do that other lesson later. But anyways, go ahead.
Verse 10. Thus saith the Most High, I will also make the multitude of Egypt to cease by the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. He and his people with him, the terrible of the nations, shall be brought to destroy the land. And they shall draw their swords against Egypt and fill the land with the slain.
Real quick, let me throw a little something here right here. And not saying that Nebuchadnezzar is Christ, but Nebuchadnezzar is the shadow of what Christ is going to do. Because every nation fell underneath Nebuchadnezzar. Everybody. Because he was a great so-called king and the Most High allowed it to be in things. Took in captivity all the other nations and things like that who didn't bow down to him or whatever the case may be. All of this is a foreshadow of what things to come when Christ comes, okay? So just keep that in mind when you're reading this here. But go ahead.
Okay, verse 12. And I will make the river dry and sell the land into the hand of the wicked. And I will make the land waste and all that is therein by the hand of strangers. I, the Most High, have spoken it. Thus said the Most High, will also destroy the idols, and I will cause their images to cease out of Noph. And there shall be no more a prince of the land of Egypt. And I will put fear in the land of Egypt. And I will make Pathros desolate. And I will set fire in Zone. And I will execute judgment in No. And I will pour my fury upon Sin, the strength of Egypt, and I will cut off the multitude of No. And I will set fire in Egypt. Sin shall have great pain, and shall be rent asunder in Noph, shall have distress daily. Young men of Avon and of Pitbisseth shall fall by the sword, and these cities shall go into captivity. And Taphaphines also, the day shall be darkened, when I shall break there the yokes of Egypt, and the pump of her strength shall cease in her. As for her, a cloud shall cover her, and her daughters shall go into captivity. Thus will I execute judgments in Egypt, and they shall know that I am the Most High. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the first month, in the 7th day of the month, that the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, I have broken the arm of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and lo, it shall not be bound up to be healed. To put a roller to bind it, to make it strong to hold the sword. Therefore, thus said the Most High, behold, I am against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and I will break his arms, the strong, and that which was broken, and I will cause the sword of the fall out of his hand. And I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations, and will disperse them through the countries. And I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon, and put my sword in his hand. And I will break Pharaoh's arms, and he shall groan before him with the groanings of a deadly wounded man. And I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon, and the arms of Pharaoh shall fall down. And they shall know that I am the Most High. And when I shall put my sword into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall stretch it out upon the land of Egypt, and I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations, and disperse them among the countries, and they shall know that I am the Most High.
Like I said, this is all foreshadowed. So think about as this being Christ, what he's going to do. All of this stuff is going to happen real soon. The king and priest is coming, and he's going to do all of this stuff. Okay? So that's it on that. Let's jump to Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 8 through 15. And basically this is going about why the other nations, they were not only the Ammonites, but a lot of the other nations still to this day is making fun of our people and of the Most High by saying the little smirks and things that they do say and things, and that they're doing abusing the land and things like that, especially the Holy Land. But go ahead.
35, 8 through 13.
Yes, sir.
Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 8. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In thy hills and in thy valleys and in thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. And I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return. And ye shall know that I am the Most High, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Most High was there. Therefore, as I live, saith the Most High, I will even do according to thine anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of their hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. And thou shalt know that I am the Most High, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies, which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Verse 13. Thus with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus said the Most High, when the whole earth rejoices, I will make thee desolate. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Most High.
So I spoke of Idumea again, Edom. I told you guys before, that was a mistranslation in the law. Thou shalt not abhor the Edomite, for they shall enter into the congregation of the Most High in their third and fourth generation. So no. Nope. That was Syrian. Like it says in Obadiah, the whole chapter, the whole book, Esau is not going to be in existence anymore. Okay? Oh, real quick, once again, not every white person is Edom, okay? So get that out your mind already. Grecians and Romans, as it says, Chittim and Kittim, they're Jebusites. Jebu is from the sons of Japhet, okay? So you can't say that every white person is Edom and things like that. Don't do that, okay? You need to discern with the spirit and stuff, because there is a lot of white people who do care and who really are for the Most High. So that can't possibly be a Edomite, okay? Or Esau, all right? That could be one of like Cornelius's ancestors or whatever. That's Roman, okay? You don't know. So, just deal with the spirit and stuff. Go out there and teach according to what the word says, and don't leave stuff out according to the law. Don't do that, okay? Let's get Ezekiel Ezekiel 36, 3 through 11. This is what happens, what we're going to do, and then then we'll jump into Revelations to bring that forth.
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 3 through 11. Verse 3, therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Most High, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and you are taken up in the lips of the talkers, and are an infamy of the people. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Most High. Thus saith the Most High to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus saith the Most High, surely in the fire of my jealousy I have spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into the possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, to the valleys, thus saith the Most High, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. Therefore, thus saith the Most High, I have lifted up mine hand. Surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame. But ye, O mountains of Israel, ye shall shoot forth your branches, and yield your fruit to my people of Israel, for they are at hand to come. For behold, I am for you, and I will turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown, and I will multiply men upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it. And the cities shall be inhabited, and the ways shall be builded. And I will multiply upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bring fruit. And I will settle you after your old estates, and will do better unto you than at your beginnings. And ye shall know that I am the Most High.
Real quick, that's letting you know when you get in the kingdom, there's still going to be men, children being born, animals, so forth and so on. He just said it right here. Okay? So a lot of y'all who's asking about, well, are there going to be marriages and things like that? Obviously, it says it right here. Because the Most High said, I'm going to multiply men. And he's speaking about Israel right here. Okay? So we're still going to be multiplying afterwards. All right? Remember, 2/3 of us got to go. Okay? So, I've heard other doctrines out there saying, no, we're not going to be doing that, blah, 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 so forth and so on. But anyways, that was it on 11, right? Okay.
3 through 11, 36.
Actually, keep
Take it on
reading.
down.
Yeah, real quick.
Verse 12. Ye, I will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall possess thee, and thou shalt be their inheritance, and thou shalt no more henceforth bereave them of men. Thus said the Most High, because they say unto you, thou land devourest up men, and hast bereaved thy nations.
You know what? That's it on that, Ellis. Salakia. Okay, so it tells you we're going to take all these other nations to be in a possession. That means we are going to own the other nations out there. To back that up, let's see what Christ said. Let's see Hamashiach Yeshua, Yahushua, Yeshua, or to y'all who say Jesus Christo or Jesus Christ. Let's see what he says in Revelations 13 and 9. And all saints is not every nation or people that believe in the Most High. The actual saints that it's speaking of is Israel. And I'm going to do a lesson on that to back that all thoroughly all the way up. Okay?
Revelation 13th chapter and verse 9. And it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Anybody that leadeth us into captivity, you're going into captivity. What we just read here, you guys had us in captivity. You had us as a possession. You made fun of us and the land you made desolate and things like that purposely. And you're clapping while it was desolate and you're still doing it. You guys are going to go into captivity. Okay? And once again, this is about salvation and things. Once again, we said our salvation is not the same as yours. Our salvation is 1,000 years of rest. Okay? Yours, if you make it into the kingdom, will be to serve. Okay? So we're doing it now. It's going to come around and things. But go ahead.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
But wait, God and Jesus would never do nothing like that. They would never kill. That's hurtful. That's not true.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Period. All this murdering you guys have been doing since day one, guess what? That blood is on your hands, and it's time to take a life for a life. Thanks to Divine Prospect about his video he showed me about human sacrifices and things like that. That's the understanding. You got to do eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Okay? So you took a life, you got to give a life. And you guys have taken many of our ancestors' lives all the way up until this day. But guess what? It needs, you guys got to pay up with blood. It's going to come to it. And that's exactly what it says right here. But go ahead.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So, saints, Yeshua Allah, Israel, 12 tribes of Israel. Be patient, man. Okay? Don't take the vengeance in your hands. Don't do it. It's not for you to do it right now. It's not in Ecclesiastes chapter 3. It's not that time yet. There's a time and season for everything. It's not time yet, okay? So just chill. But let's go back to, we ended off in 36. Let's go to Joel chapter 3 and 1 through 14, and then we'll end it there. And then we'll...
3 what?
Joel chapter 3 and verse 1 through 14. Because this is at an hour already. Before Amos.
Dirty. All right. Joel, the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And I will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine.
Wait, they have given a boy for harlot. That's back in the law. Like I told people before, when you read the Hebrew, when it says, thou shalt not make the sons of Israel sodomites. The word sodomite in that is not talking about him being gay or fey. It's talking about making him or trading him for money, having sex for money and things like that. Okay, so that according to the Hebrew, right? So that's what it's talking about right there. That's why it says a son for the harlot. Okay, but go ahead.
Okay, verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Ye, they have, what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? What will ye render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into captivity, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to the people far off, for the Most High has spoken it. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves, and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither come thy mighty ones, to come down, O Most High. Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get ye down, for the press is full, the vats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Most High is near in the valley of decision.
So it's basically going to keep talking about like certain signs in the sky and things like that. So basically, we're just showing you. We're going to end it here, but basically just showing you what's going to happen and things. And this is why you need to wake up the mighty men. The mighty men is 144,000. Once that number is hit, it's a done one. Then you're going to start seeing way more stuff happening. And once that happens and stuff, Christ is going to come, and you guys, there ain't no hiding from it. It's over with. And like I said, those mighty men are going to be those judges to help Yeshua in the kingdom and stuff. That's why each and every one of them are going to have their own little section all through the whole kingdom of Israel and stuff, because they were right and devout men and did exactly according to what the Most High said to do. And that's why it says some will be back with when what's Moses' father-in-law name? Jethro. Yeah. Jethro told him basically, don't take that burden on yourself. Create some other, like helpers and things, like have ones over 1,000, judges over hundreds, some over 50s, and some over 10 and stuff. This is going to help out all of Israel, or excuse me, help out Christ when the kingdom comes and stuff, because the whole burden is not going to be on his whole head to do the whole work and everything. Even though he's the king and the high priest and everything, still he needs help. Okay, that's why he had called on 12 disciples. If he didn't need any help, he'd have done it himself. Okay, so shows and prove still need help. All right, that's why we need to come together, unify. Since you guys like watching Black Panther and things like that, talk about Wakanda and things. They just showed you how to come together and things like that. Look what's gonna happen, But anyways, that's for another. That's another thing. But anyways. We'll talk more. We're going to pick up in Amos chapter 1 and 11 through 15 on the next, the final part. So this is part 4, I said. Yeah, I think part 4. Anywho, I hope you guys got some more knowledge and wisdom and understanding, and I hope you guys are really using this to your advantage and to help you guys out, and go out there and spread some more truth and help sharpen your sword and things like that, and then be fishers of men and bring back more souls back onto the Most High through Yeshua and the Holy Spirit. So I'll see you guys next time. I'm Brother Ezekiel.
Brother Chris.
And we're saying shalom.
Shalom.